So, I really, first of all, I really appreciate having you as a student because you were participating a lot in the group, and it was very nice. So, yeah, I appreciate it.
Thank you. That was my pleasure. It was a very good atmosphere with other people, especially in the club. I like it very much, and with my personal teacher too.
Yeah. So, what did you like about the club?
I like to share some English practice and discussing with other people, and all of them are not at the same level, and that's very nice because you have to listen, and so you make some improvement in listening people, and that was a very good atmosphere, very confident because nobody is judging anyone,
Right.
so you get at ease
Right.
very
Right.
very soon. Mhm.
Do you remember when you were at school, learning English at school? Like the atmosphere, was it similar or was it different?
Obviously, it was really different because in French learning, when you're at university or in school, you're always afraid about making some mistake, and your teachers told you and stop you every time you make a mistake, and that's not a good way to learn an extra language because you need to practice and to feel confident. And I've noticed that foreign people, when they speak in English, and especially English native people, that don't stop you, just need to understand you. But it's really different than in France.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, I've noticed it where I've made mistakes in French, and well, I'm not always corrected. That's not true, but I think it comes from a place of wanting to help, right? When someone corrects my French, for example, it's in order for me to improve. But it's true that it's a different culture because in English, but also because it's so international, and it's not even the first language of most English speakers in a sense, right? But
Yeah, probably. Sorry.
no, no, go ahead. No, you were saying.
I think this is a very specific French character to be very hard about us, and you want so much to be perfect in
Mm.
speaking that we don't speak at the end. So
Yeah, yeah. No, I've noticed that. I've definitely picked up on that. When I first started teaching, I remember getting some students that would tell me, "I want you to correct me." They would tell me, "I want you to correct me." So I said, "Okay, no problem." And I found myself stopping them after every sentence and saying, "Actually, you have to use this verb and that." And finally, I realized that no, they didn't really want me to correct them because by doing that, that stops the flow of their speaking. So I realized, okay, make a note, and perhaps after they finish speaking, maybe give them oh, you've said this, and maybe you should say this instead, type of thing.
yes, and I think it's the same thing when you read a book, I mean an English book, because English written book, because
Mhm.
at the beginning I was stopping at every word I didn't understand. So I have no fun. No, I didn't enjoy because there were too many stops to find the good meaning in the dictionary. And after I decided, okay, probably I wouldn't understand all the specific words, but the most important is to enjoy reading and to understand the whole sense. And it was getting better for me in this way.
That's right. Well, I mean, it shows because your level is quite good. I mean, much higher than the average, and that's probably because you enjoy learning English, and you feel that for you it's a pleasure, isn't it?
Yes, it is, and it's getting well. I can say that I enjoy and learning English and speaking English, and I think if I had a tip to give to anybody, that would be this: work but enjoy too in learning, And at the same time, the more you learn and you practice, and the more you can realize that you have a lot of words and things to learn. So it's a very long way. You just have to
Yes.
accept it.
Yeah, you just have to accept it. It's funny because in the biggest dictionary, English dictionary in the, I think it's the Webster. There's 350,000 English words, okay, in the English dictionary, and linguists have compared. Okay, the biggest French dictionary is something like 150,000. So that's
Okay.
and that was surprising to me, but huge difference. Many more words in the English than the French. But the reality is that we English speakers know only really a fraction of what's in that dictionary. It's so ridiculous the number of words that there's even a famous game called Boulder Dash, where it's just full of words that exist that are in the dictionary, but no one could possibly know. Very few people would know the meaning, and so the point of the game is you hear the word, which is like, I don't know, gibberish word, and you make up, you do a fake meaning. Everyone writes their own definition, and people take turns reading the definitions, and you have to guess, which one is the correct one. And just to show you that there's almost an infinite amount of vocabulary words, but the really important ones, it's boiled down to 3,000. It's actually really just 3,000. That with those 3,000 words, you can communicate like 85% of the time. Which is
Yeah, so that's a good thing. That's enough.
yeah, yeah. So can you tell our listeners, what do you do? What is your job, and why for you English was important?
Okay. Well, I've been working in as a manager, executive manager in operation. In a national job center. And I didn't need to use much English in my work, because sometimes we have some seminar.
Yeah, seminars, right?
Yes, to sharing practices with
Mm,
other countries, but most of the time I remain in my job in France.
right.
But there has been a big change in my life recently, because I've been retired for months now.
Wow,
So that gives
congratulations.
yeah, thank you. And that gives me much time to learn English, but to travel to and to visit my family, because my sons live abroad,
Right.
and they are engaged with English native partners.
Both of them,
And
like from England, like British, or
no, from Australia
okay.
for one, and for Netherlands, Amsterdam for the other, and the third one from Canada, Montreal. But in Montreal, they speak French too. But two
Sure.
of my daughters-in-law don't speak
Yeah.
any word in French, so I
Wow.
have no choice but
Right.
to
Right.
progress and improve myself, because it's so
Yeah.
important to be able to share feelings and to know each other in English.
Yeah, that's fascinating. Are you a bit sad that your sons, all three sons, have moved
Uh,
away, like from
no,
France?
I'm not. I'd like to see them more often, but no, I'm not sad, because that's their choice, and I find this so nice to live abroad, and
Yeah.
to be to have to cope with different cultures
Yes.
and way of thinking, and that's very wealthy experience,
Yes, it's
rich
it's
experience.
enriching. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm living it myself, right? As a Canadian living in France. It's so interesting to be in a different culture. It really is. And it actually gives you a chance an opportunity to be not someone else, but kind of like a fresh start, right? No baggage, no one really knows you. So you can kind of be the person you kind of always wanted to be without the history of perhaps past mistakes. Basically, what I'm saying is that I'm a criminal. I was a criminal in Canada, and the FBI is looking for me, but I'm here incognito. Bad
And
joke, bad joke.
I think living in another country with a different language makes you more tolerant because, as you say, you are like a child in another country, and so you feel can feel uncomfortable at the beginning when you speak, and so you can understand other people when they come, friends, and it's difficult for them. And I think, well, now for young people, young adults, frontiers are so different from my
Mm,
generation, and I
mm,
think
mm,
it's a very good thing, and
mm.
I
It
hope
is interesting. Mm.
yes, I hope it will continue.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, coming here to France, I was really excited because not obviously I was very excited to because the French culture is incredible, but also because it's in Europe, and once you're a European, you also have access to all of Europe. Which wow, I mean, it's because it's fascinating because in Canada, I've driven from Montreal to Vancouver. I drove my car 5,000 kilometers. Okay, and it's much different. Okay, the landscape is different and everything, but you're still in Canada, and it's Canadians. But here, if you drive 5,000 kilometers east, maybe you'll end up in Moscow or something, and then you're going through all these different cultures and really different language, different everything. So it's so interesting. I'm very happy to be here. But and I'm curious, your children that moved, did they speak any English before going to Australia, for example?
The ones who went to Australia, I can say that he studied English at university, but
Hmm.
he was not really fond in speaking. But he wanted to
Hmm.
go abroad, and he left France during the pandemic period.
Oh yeah.
Because he wanted to try a new experience, a new professional experience. He was about 24 years old
Okay.
at the moment, I think. And as the pandemic period started, he really wondered, do I go back to France or do I stay here? And he chose the second one, and he
Hmm.
stayed there. And I think it was quite difficult for him at the beginning because he had to look for a job, and he wasn't a very good speaker in English.
Oh really? Oh
And he
wow.
was alone on his own because he didn't want
Wow.
to travel with anyone. He told me, and I think he was right. If you
Yes.
travel with
With a French person, you're not going to
yes,
speak English. It's
yes.
it's true. It's true. I have friends that went as a couple, and yeah, despite living 2 years in Australia, they came back. They don't speak a lick of English. It's really yeah, that's true. Oh, that he well, good for him. What a great experience, like you said, struggling, adapting. What a life lesson, and now, how is he doing?
Now he works into tourism.
Hmm.
Is a manager in organize some trips for Australian people. At the beginning, he was a guide. He went to some special place in Australia, and, especially in the center of Australia, the Uluru Rock. The big red rock.
Mm, mm.
So he made so many jobs before, but now he's in tourism because I'm thinking about this because we were on WhatsApp and things like this to
Yeah.
exchange, and every time I had him on phone, he told me about different experiences of job, and that's so different from France because people are more. It's easier to change and to find a new job, I think, in this kind
Yes,
of
and
country.
yeah, Anglo-Saxon culture, it's true. And yes, because well, for even me, for example, when I worked at Michelin, for example, in Canada,
Mhm.
Michelin Canada, I was working in sales, and they approached me and said, "Would you like to work in marketing?" And I said, "Well, I know nothing about marketing. I didn't." I studied history at university. I don't know. They said, "Don't worry, we'll train you. You know, you have the personality for it." So, I was like, "Wow, okay, great." So and I got the job, and I learned, on the job, and it's true. I mean, I've never worked in France, but from what my wife tells me, and from the thousands of French people I've met, it seems to be a little bit more categorized. Like if you work in a certain field, you kind of have to stick to it. No, I mean you can do a reconversion, right?
Yes, yes. Maybe it's changing now, but
Mm.
in France we are really strict with diploma, and
Right. Yeah.
and
Right.
and not so as I don't know the word to say that, but I think in Anglo-Saxon countries people just want to see your proficiencies and are
Yeah.
not very interested in your CV, only in your CVs and things like this.
Yeah.
But
I
in
agree.
France, it's so important.
Right. It's like the proof. It's like in
Yes.
France. It's like okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. No, I hear you. I hear you. Yeah, well, it's different. It's two approaches for sure. It's different. So now that you're retired, how do you feel? Like, do you feel like are you bored or are you excited or how do you feel about being retired?
I'm quite. I'm happy because all my life I was looking for much time to do much things, and now I love my job, and I have a lot of satisfaction with it.
Mhm.
But now it's time. It's another life, and it's time to try and to explore different opportunities. I think time is a luxury.
Mm,
Few people can have time, and one month ago I was off, and I went to Sardinia, and the most important thing for me was to just to have the time to say, oh, this place is nice, so I can stay here some
yeah,
days more,
yeah,
and even if it's raining, it's not important because I have time. And so
yes,
you really relax, and you see
yeah.
the things in a different way. Yeah,
Oh my God, sounds great.
it will happen
It will happen. Yes,
later,
yes,
later.
yes, for sure. I mean, because now with the kids, it's really difficult because they have school, and so you can only go on holiday and travel during certain periods. Usually the worst periods because that's when all the tourists and that's when the prices are high, and So yeah, I can't wait to be able to go in a September, or something on a holiday. Oh, okay. Yes. Sorry, I don't know what happened, but I forget what we were talking about. I
We
I
were
lost
we were
the.
talking about time and as
Yes.
luxury, and about the time you live, because when you're young, as you are with a family, young children, you have to manage all the things at the same time. So I recommend you to be retired the as
Oh,
far as
as late
possible. But
as
yes,
possible.
yes, but it will be nice too.
Yeah. Well, and I guess it's important also to stay healthy, to be able to enjoy, your retirement as well. All right.
Yeah, thank you. And I've started to learn another extra language too, because I've started to learn Spanish, and I didn't know how if it could work, because learning two extra language at the same time is
At the
not.
same time? Wait, you were at the same time you were learning Spanish?
I've started Spanish 1 month ago, but
Wow.
I didn't speak Spanish at all. I didn't study
Oh,
Spanish,
right.
so
You were
that's
you were a
really
real beginner.
Yeah, a
Okay,
real
yeah,
beginner. But that's nice too because I can make some links, and it's so good for your brain to
yeah.
learn new language.
It is. It is. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. In fact, there was a study that I saw that bilingual brains. Let's say if you were to develop Alzheimer's, Alzheimer, like it would delay the Alzheimer's by something like 7 years.
Hmm?
So a real link, that between a healthy, like it helps, yeah, for your brain, yeah, healthy brain, bilingual is good. Yeah, it's great. So Spanish, so it's for traveling as well, or because you're,
Because Spain is not is close
yeah,
to the place where I live in Montpellier, so it's really easy to go to Spain, and I wanted to try a Latin language to learn a Latin language, and it's not so easy, and not so easy as I thought, because the vocabulary is quite similar, but a lot of
yeah.
false friends,
Oh, okay. In
and
French, with
yes,
French, yeah.
yes. And the grammar is harder than English, I found.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. Right, right. Yeah, I mean, English, it's pretty simple, really. I mean, if you remove present perfect, that stuff, it's pretty much past, present and future. But French, the grammar is more complex, I think.
Y- Yes, but I'm not a good judge in French because it's my native language, so
Yeah,
I can tell
right.
you. But I think in English, the most important is to speak. We talked about it before,
Mm.
and my goal was to be understood with native English people,
Yeah,
because I've realized that sometimes when I was speaking with English people, they didn't understand me because of my pronunciation, my bad intonation in speaking, and it can change the meaning of the words. Sometimes it's easier with when you speak with foreign people because we are all at the same page. It's the same thing
right,
for all of us. But when you
right.
speak with English native people, English speakers, yes, I didn't realize this before, but so important to pronounce and English intonation is very important.
Yeah, it is. It's true. You're right. No, you're right. You're right. And in fact, I think that's why some French people say, "Oh, on an accent de vache espagnole" or whatever, right?
Mm,
And in fact, it's not that they don't like their accent. It's that maybe they had an experience with an American or an Anglophone where they thought they were saying it correctly, but the American just didn't understand, right? And it wasn't. It's not even on purpose. It's not that they're pretending. No, it's that
mm,
yeah, no, I understand. And in fact, it's similar to experience to what I had because, I'm a native English, but I grew up in Montreal, right? And we speak French, but it's Quebecois, and
yes.
it's different, So I remember many of my Quebecois friends tell me, oh, the Parisians, they're, how do I say? They give me attitude, like, or snob. They think they're snobby because they'll say, I don't know, for example. Je peux ça en baguette, so it's ça en baguette, and maybe the Parisian will be like, pardon, like,
Mhm.
but because it really didn't understand, it's not to make fun. It's really because,
Yes, yes, and when I see Canadian movies, French Canadian movies in Quebecois,
yes, yes, yes,
sometimes I need to put the French
subtitles,
subtitles
of
because
course.
vocabulary is quite different, and
Yes,
the accents. It depends of the person, of the people, because some
yes,
are speaking quite like we do in French, but for
yeah,
some people, it's really tough
yes,
accent. Mhm.
yes, and in fact, it's compared to like what is it, les ch'tis? Is that it? Is it
Yes, yes, in the north of France. Yeah.
in the north of France? because I think basically genetically or culturally, a lot of Quebecois I think come from that region. Really, like if you go back in the year 1640 when the French started coming to Canada, probably from that region. So
Okay, I didn't know. Okay.
yeah, yeah. I mean, we still use words like, for example, c'est combien? Ben, c'est 5 piastres.
Yes, I heard that.
Yeah,
And
and I laugh now, but but I always thought it was pias. Like when I the first time I said pias ici, people are like pias. What's that? Like what is pias?
yes, and for slang, I've noticed that there are a lot of words with religion origin in
Yes,
Quechua,
yes,
Calis, things like this, and it's so different in French.
yes.
But
So
that
true.
looks very nice for us. We love Canadian.
That's the thing, yeah, and that's what I explained to my friends, and said that, man, they love Canadians, they really do. They so anyway, but I understand that when you're speaking English and it's not the accent, but it can be the intonation, like you said, that can be confusing for when you speak to, for example, your Australian daughter-in-law,
Yes.
how is the communication? Is it good, or is it?
Not as good as I wish,
Mhm.
because she tries to learn French, but she's a real beginner in French.
Right.
In fact, I'm not used to listen Australian accent. It's easier for me with American people or English people, but Australian accent is part. The way of speaking is
It's different.
uh,
I mean,
I want. I don't want to be impolite, but
right.
she told me, Sophie, Australian people are very lazy. So we cut we reduce the words. They put O and E at the end of some words. But it's not a question of vocabulary, because I think you can get used easily with this.
Mm.
But the way of the intonation in the sentence are different, and
Oh,
I'm
I
not
see.
used with.
I see. I see. Okay. Right. 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 Yeah. That just. Yeah. That's something to just get used to eventually with time. Yeah.
Yes, and the only way is to speak together and to listen. Um,
That's right. That's right. That's
yes,
right.
because at the beginning I didn't catch any word,
Oh,
and but
really?
I
Wow.
know I knew the words, but I didn't hear
Yeah.
them.
Right. Right. Yeah. That's the thing. It's amazing because just when you think, oh, I'm learning English, yay, it's great, and then you speak to someone with a Chinese accent or something, and what, you don't understand anything.
Yes, but you don't have to give up, because sometimes I felt depressed, or
Right.
it never be possible. But
No.
after hearing and listening people during some weeks, you make a lot of progress that you
Absolutely.
couldn't expect.
Well, I mean, when I first started teaching English, I it was a problem because when some of my French students were speaking in English, I did not understand, so I kept asking them to repeat, and so I was making them feel bad. But I became a better listener, right? And so because as a teacher, my job is mostly to listen, in fact, not even to teach, it's mostly listening. And so I became good at understanding different accents just through practice, really.
Yes, I've seen that, because I saw during the lessons and the club that you understand everyone. So it's very nice and for us, but I think it's your skills and your proficiency. You improve yourself in listening French people speaking, probably.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And right, but even now when I listen to, for example, a Scottish accent, okay, a
Hmm.
Scottish accent for basically for anyone other than a Scottish person, it's not easy. But yeah, I found myself that before being a teacher, I would have been like, I don't understand what he's saying, and now because I'm kind of attuned to, yeah, my ear is kind of relaxed and not. I guess when you remove stress from situations, it helps, right? And I think in general, a lot of say French people are kind of stressed when they hear English. If they're not used to it.
Yes, you're so right, because it 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 comes to my mind when I was learning English. I was focused on my not my partner, but the people I was talking to,
Sure.
and I was so tired after 5 minutes speaking. Because you're really focused, and you just have to relax and to chill out. To
Wow, to chill out. Bravo, Sophie. That's a good one. I love it. Yeah.
because it's coming to your brain without effort. If you It's not so important not to get any word. So
Yes. Well, I mean, you speak so well and relaxed now. Like, would you say, because many of my students say, my problem is that I translate from French to English. And I feel like you perhaps don't do that anymore. You seem to flow from an English mind almost, like you're right. You're like switching.
yes, I think my most important homework to learn English was to listen every day, as many as possible, as much as possible, even in as an active listener, but even as an inactive one. I
Right.
don't know if
Passive. Yeah.
a passive one, because my it comes to me too, even if I don't understand everything, or I think I don't understand.
Yes,
And
exactly.
for example, there is a big difference when you listen English singers, and because we are so Anglo-Saxon culture in music is so important. You listen everywhere all the day long, and
Mm.
when you decide to understand the songs, and that is very difficult for me even today to understand the songs. But in fact, you can struggle, or you have to respect your own pace to listen
Mm.
to progress. And sometimes it's just nice, it's just enough to listen, but not to try to understand everything. I don't know
Yeah.
if I'm clear.
No, no, I absolute no, but that's 100% right. It is a skill to listen without being frustrated, but of not understanding everything. Think of a child. My 5-year-old will watch, let's say, a cartoon, and it's a cart. They're using vocabulary that I know for sure he does not know every one of those words or expressions. But if you look at their face, not 1 inch of being frustrated, not at all. They're just absorbed by their brain is taking in the context and the visual image and an emotion, and words are almost secondary. It's really just no frustration, and they're absorbing, and that's how we should be, really, as much. But I know it's not easy, though. It's not
No,
easy.
no, it's easy to say, but
Yeah, yeah,
to
yeah.
do.
That's right. No, absolutely. But I do that. When I watch French cinema or series, I don't understand everything. But I enjoy it. I would never put it in English. But no, never. Cool. Well, listen, I really enjoyed our talk, Sophie. It was a real pleasure. Yeah. So and it's so cool. You get to basically do your passion. You love traveling, and now that your English is better and you're more comfortable, and you're going to develop deeper relationships with your
Yes,
daughter-in-laws.
I hope so.
Yeah. No, that's great. That's great. And yeah, I hope we stay in touch. It was really a pleasure.
Yes, I'll join the club for a few weeks more, and I have to take my TOEIC test now,
Yes,
so I need to
that's right.
prepare it. And
That's right.
yes, but I'm not stressed, because I've not uh, a special goal.
Yeah.
I'm not looking for a job, but it will be nice to see, to assess my level,
Yeah.
and to see if I have really progress or not. So
Yeah. Yeah.
so I
Yeah.
want to prepare it seriously. Yeah.
Cool. 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 We'll talk about that. I'll give you some tools
Okay.
that you can use to prepare.
Thank you
Okay.
so much.
Thank you very much, Sophie.
Thank you. See you. Bye bye.
See you. Bye bye.